Well, happy Wine Wednesday. And here I am with Leah Spooner. And Leah is in Ontario. And this is our attempt at a national wine tasting together, just the two of us. So, if for those of you who don't know, Leah is a wine professional, a wine writer. She's very active in Ontario. She has a very big following, and that's kind of how we met. And then we got this big idea that, why not coast to coast? Why not connect? And why not taste wine together? And like, who knows, soon we might be rubbing shoulders. So that'd be really cool. But anyway,
Yeah.
welcome, Leah,
Thank
and
you. Thanks for having me and happy Wine Wednesday.
happy Wine Wednesday. Are you snowed in?
Not today. Most of the plows and everything we have a little bit of reprieve for the rest of the week and weekend now for snow, just lots of coldness.
Well, we
But
saw 60 centimeters were supposed to fall and like minus 30 or whatever. And like thinking about the grapes in Niagara and the grapes in Prince Edward County and like going, please, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
because
Yeah, it's interesting because there are some vineyards in Prince Edward County that, hill up, so they bury their vines in the winter. So in that way they do get protected quite a bit more. But I am a little bit worried about Niagara vineyards right now. I mean, the snow is good,
yeah,
but the cold is not.
right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
ice wine is already passed, isn't it?
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
they harvest in December, but I'm not sure. I guess it depends on the.
Yeah, it wouldn't have taken long this winter because it got really cold really fast. But I actually don't remember when they actually did the ice wine harvest. Yeah.
That's all right. I love ice wine, by the way. I know people might laugh, but I think BC or Canadian ice wine is like still phenomenal.
Yeah. No, same. I am actually going to industry sort of tasting this week. And we're all supposed to bring our some really good Canadian bottles. And they were like, but just don't bring ice wine. And I'm like, come on, like, we're professionals. And I'm like, I love white ice wine. I want someone to bring ice wine. I
Yeah, well,
still
I
love it.
actually had this idea that we should have a sweet wine, like dessert wine event where
Yeah.
internationally, I mean, there's so many internationally. And anyway,
Oh, that's true.
that's another
Yeah.
topic that we can
Yeah.
discuss. Anyway, just let me, Leah and I just coordinated a little bit, and we have with us today Hester Creek.
Yeah. I
And
have a couple
we're going to
here.
be tasting, yeah, so the first one, Leah, what do you have there?
It's so I have the Hester Creek, the Judge, and it is
It's showing up a little
2021.
blurry, so you might have to undo
Mm,
your filter thing.
let's see here.
So oops, I always go
There.
backwards. All right, so
Is
there's
that better?
two. So this is 2022, Hester Creek, the judge. And yours is a
Yeah.
21?
And yes. And I haven't tasted it yet, so I'm really excited
Let's
to see
pour.
what it's all
It's
about.
Wine
Yeah.
Wednesday. We must begin.
I already got mine here.
Mm,
So,
that color is so beautiful.
it's quite dark. Can I read
So
the
dark.
makeup here? I'd love to know how it compares to your
Okay,
vintage. So
yeah,
this one's
go for it.
47% Merlot, 26 Cabernet Franc, 22% Cabernet Sauvignon, 4% Verdot, sorry, and 1% Malbec. Hmm.
So this one, I was
24,
looking at the wrong
24 months in
sheet, so I was
French.
like, it's totally wrong. 47% Merlot,
Mm-hmm.
34% Cab Franc, 17% Cabernet Sauvignon, 1% Petit Verdot, and 1% Malbec. A true
Interesting.
heritage. Yes.
Okay. So I have a
So
little bit more Petit Verdot in this one and Cabernet Franc.
I love Petit Verdot. It always brings so much
Yeah.
power and flavor. It kind of really settles my heart whenever I'm tasting something with a good amount of Petit Verdot in it.
Yeah, same.
So this is bottled May 7th,
Wow.
2025, the 2022 season. So It was a very cool January, or June. We called it January.
Oh my gosh. Oh no.
Yeah, and then heavy rain, like it was moist and it was concerning. And then we had a very long, as I recall, a very long, warm fall. And that is always great for Sauvignon, Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc,
hmm
Petit Verdot doesn't, it's a tough one. 100% French oak, 24 months.
24 months. Yeah.
And Hester
I'm
Creek,
actually, I
go ahead.
was just gonna say the nose is kind of interesting because it has sort of like this savory, like meaty note, like you would find in Syrah or something, like I would find in a BC Syrah. But it's very
When you think
savory.
about the winds that blow and the brush, the dryness, the um, you know, granite, loamy, alluvial soils, probably not so much. I just was trying to see here if it gives me a bit more information, but Hester Creek's located in the Golden Mile.
Okay.
They have a beautiful restaurant. They have beautiful accommodation. The winemaker is Mark Popley and Brooke Jesus, and she's the assistant. And together they are doing amazing things under the guidance of Mark Sheridan, who is the general manager. Um, and I had the pleasure of visiting them 2024 in like March or something. And we stayed and we did the tour, and they have these fantastic
Nice.
Italian tanks that are like branded, says Hester Creek. Anyway, very, it's large. They have
hmm
the one of the only tasting rooms where they still do like you could go walk into the wine bar. You don't need a reservation, and you can still taste four wines without any obligation. That's not very common anymore
Nice.
here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. Um, I think the only wine that I've actually tasted from them, at least in the last 5 years or so, has been a Chardonnay. Um, and I did really enjoy that one as well. So this is the first red.
So the thing about 2021 was that was the year I was in Kelowna in the summer. And when I arrived in August, everything was orange. It was like Armageddon, and the forest fires was one of the worst years for forest fires. So a lot of people, a lot of vines and vineyards were very conscientious about smoke taint and the challenges that that presents because it doesn't
hmm
necessarily show up until after the wine is made. So I'm curious to know if it has a smoky overtone or not.
I mean,
There's ways to remediate it, so
yeah. Um,
mm,
Possibly a little bit.
mm.
I mean, that could be more of like the like sort of like smoky dried meat aromas that I'm getting. Um,
Yeah, so this one, it's a very red berry, deep
it's a
red
little bit.
cherry, bramble. There's nice spice from the oak. It's got a really nice feeling on your palate. The acidity is great, and the finish just is like hanging on,
Yeah,
waiting for some
this one's quite
steak.
long. I really like the oak integration in this one. Yeah, once we get up to that many months in oak, um, I'm really like a stickler for oak integration in wine. I'm
Mhm.
very particular about it. Um, but this one is actually integrated really nicely. There isn't a lot of like astringent oak tannin in it. It's nice and soft. And it really supports the fruit.
Now this one, I think the 2022 is integrated. I think it's young, and I
Mhm.
think I always say like open them up, decant them, drink them, enjoy them. Like don't hold them because one day you'll realize, like me, you have 140 bottles, and like when are you going to drink these? Like when?
Yeah.
So the 2022, I would say. You could drink it now, or you could leave it
Mhm.
for a couple of years, and then it will be different. It will have changed. But yeah, it hasn't been in the bottle a year, And it's beautiful. I don't know what the price of these is, but I have a feeling these are like 50 or 60, oh no, $50 bottle here.
Okay.
And I'm sure
That
if
seems like
you're,
a really good value.
listen, I do the BC Wine Tasting Challenge, and one of the goals is just to demonstrate to consumers in general that we have wine here that we just don't understand the value. We would buy something from Bordeaux like this, pay $100 or more, and then we have this in our backyard at $50. So
Yeah,
that's my goal, is just to get kind of redirect and refocus people into considering a blind tasting to uncover the bias,
right. Yeah.
because it's
I
a
actually
label
do that.
bias.
Yeah. I almost do all of my tastings, almost all of them blind first. Especially when I'm doing like an around the world tasting, so nobody knows where the wine is from first, just so they can really get a grasp and everyone's shocked. And yeah,
Yes,
especially with
everyone is
Canadian
shocked.
wines. Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
I think our work is cut out for us. What do you think about wine in decline?
It's interesting because there's so many factors right now that like are contributing to the decline of wine. And all the time I think this is like this has to be the main reason, or like this has to be the main reason. And then I read like, more statistics coming out, and um we definitely just need to find smarter ways on how we're talking about wine. I mean, obviously, wine has been around forever. It'll always be around. It's always going to be, on the table. It's going to be enjoyed with food. It's going to be enjoyed with uh, friends and family and moments. Um, but I think that a lot of the way that humans are interacting now is very also antisocial. So
Right.
that's a huge factor.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, I
Oh my God, this
was
wine
going
is
to
so
do
good.
a wine tasting. I'm I'm setting it up. It's like as an alumni with the St. Lawrence College in Kingston. And the teacher told me for the hospitality, this is for the hospitality management class, um, you know, over something like between 75 and 80% of the students don't drink.
I know, can't relate. I
Right?
can't relate. What's going on?
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of that is like cultural as well. Um, but the fact that it's those students that are in hospitality, I think that we're gonna see a really big change. Um, even going forward with that. I heard a lot of the bars in Kingston now are opening way earlier, and they're more of like this like family hangout and like food and wine kind of thing instead of, clubbing. So they're just sort of like changing the way that we socialize and interact with each other over wine.
Mhm. Well, it's interesting because for me, it brings up COVID, and suddenly we're isolated, and then we're gonna
Yeah.
like, what are you gonna do? And everybody's ordering wine, and at least maybe if you were coupled, you were drinking a bottle of wine together, so you're only having half a bottle each. But who wants
Yeah.
to drink wine alone? Wine is social. Wine is like food and people and laughter and conversation. And so I
Yeah.
think that's really valid. Like, the whole scrolling and like we're on our phones and we're like not out and about, we're not paying attention, we're not interacting. Like,
Yeah.
I think that has something to do with it. I also think, if you think historically, we can drink water here. Like, wine used to be like, well, we didn't have water, we didn't have clean water, so we fermented and we made wine. So, culturally speaking, Hungarians, for example, wine is the first beverage of choice, not beer, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So, how do we make that Canadian culture? We've got beer, we've got the log cabin, we've got whiskey.
Yeah. I mean, first and foremost, I just feel like at least here in Ontario, I'm not sure what it's like in BC, but first and foremost, we just need to change the opinion of our largest demographic of drinkers that Canadian wine isn't what it used to be 20 years ago. I feel like
Right.
we're just sort of changing that sort of viewpoint. Um, I think we're getting there. I mean, definitely our producers are, improving. Our wine has come such a long way in the
Yeah,
last decade even.
yeah,
So I
yes.
think we'll get there again. Yeah.
So can you do a little recap of what we're looking at in Ontario for wineries and like growers and how big it is and like what's going on there?
Oh gosh.
Do you know?
You're putting me
Is
on the
it?
spot. I don't
Oh,
know
well,
numbers
listen,
now.
don't do it. Let's drink more wine then. That's for
Yeah,
maybe
I
the
have no
next
idea. It's
call.
the memory of the goldfish. Um,
Well, in BC, we have about 300 wineries.
right,
We have had in the last 5 or 6 years, we've had the worst climate events. So we had forest fires and then we had the deep freeze.
right.
Last year, there's a new category called crafted in British Columbia so that we could at least salvage for those who had no grapes, the business of bringing grapes from outside of the province. Some
Yeah,
came from Ontario, some came from Washington, some came from Oregon.
right.
And um, everything's challenging because consumers don't understand the uptick and the message right away. Like it just, so
Yeah,
I don't know what's going to happen, but this past year, so we had the deep freeze in 24, we had the deep freeze at the end December 22, which is really 2023. So 2024 was crafted in NBC, and to be fair, 2025 was so abundant, they just had no idea how abundant it was going to be. So not enough tanks, not enough, like harvest just kept going on, and
yeah,
people were like, oh my God. And then, of course,
yeah,
the other side of that is, well, you already had full stores from 2022 because it was a super abundant vintage. Then we had the deep freezes and there were challenges, but wine doesn't sell. The sales of wine's been kind of declining, so it hasn't been like moving through the system. And we weren't like, we don't have wine, we have wine. And then
yeah.
2025 now is just like, oh my God, we have so much wine. I'm so excited to start tasting. It's coming up soon, the March or April with the releases, but
Hmm.
I don't know. So that's kind of BC, and we have many wineries that are open to the public. Some have restaurants, some have accommodation, some have both. But the
Right.
Okanagan is 180 kilometers long. That's like Kamloops to Suyas, and then we've got a big lake in between, which is great. But it's a big area. And then we've got the Similkameen Valley, which is fantastic. We've got Vancouver Island, which is fantastic. So all spread out. You could never do it in
Yeah.
a day.
Right.
It's not like,
Right.
oh, I'm in Hungary. It's like I'm in Tokai and I'm in Egger and I'm in Balaton and like you could kind of get to all the places in like 24 hours, but it's interesting.
Right. I find though that yeah, you're right. Of course you can't discover, BC wine in one day. Um, but I do find with BC wine tourism, it's just better equipped for wine tourism than anywhere in Ontario. Um,
In what way do you think?
I mean, traveling for one is
Just driving from
driving.
place to
Yeah,
place.
yeah, exactly. Like Prince Edward County, for instance, here, a huge tourism spot, but only in the
Yeah,
summer,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's also very expensive.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
don't even get caught dead driving there in the winter because it's horrible. I've done it. It's impossible. You just can't. Um, but just even like accommodation wise, and that's the
yeah.
same in Niagara. Um, where you want to be wine touring, the accommodation just isn't there. And I know that you were mentioning that a lot of BC wineries are using accommodation now, and I think that's really smart. And I think from like what I've heard through the grapevine, there's a couple more wineries, around here in Niagara and stuff that are thinking of that just to
Mhm.
enhance their tourism
Yeah,
experience.
yeah,
It's definitely something you need here where
yeah,
it's not like you can just drive down the street and go winery to winery. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And that, you have to go to Walla Walla one day. That's an amazing adventure because that is a street and all the tasting rooms are on the street and people walk around with a glass on a Saturday and they go tasting rooms. It's like, oh my God, we need that here.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
do.
Yes, for sure.
Well, mm, I'm going to pour the next wine.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
So this one is the Undici. I didn't even say that right, I don't think. But Undici, Italian. So the original owner of Hester Creek was an Italian man who brought over vines and planted them, and there's still some they don't know what it is. Hester,
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
One is called Joe's Block. They think it's, I'm not still not sure, but anyway, Sangiovese is one of the grapes that they're pretty sure, and Malbec might be another. But they also had Old Vines Trebbiano, which once you get these vines that are 30 years plus producing really excellent fruit that's concentrated, like amazing taste
Yeah,
experience. The
yeah.
sad thing is because of the frost, the Trebbiano vines perished. Need an update on that, but that was one of the last things that I
Oh
heard
no.
about. Yeah, well, and we have quite a few old vines. Vines were planted in 1978 and 73, between 73 and 78. Then we did this whole replant in NAFTA, so like 88 to 91, something like that. So, but we have historically some really old vines that are producing super amazing fruit, concentrated and, you
Is
know.
that the same with the Sangiovese then that
So
is
I
in that
don't
one?
know,
Okay.
but now that you have asked the question, I am going to cheat and bring out the technical sheet because we want to know what this is. So Undici, 2022 is the vintage on the bottle. The price of the bottle is $60 at the winery. 61% Sangiovese, 19% Merlot, 16% Cabernet Sauvignon, 3% Petit Verdot, 1% Malbec. 24 months, French oak. Alcohol. What did you think of the alcohol balance on the judge?
Um, I find that I mean, I expected it to be high because of the grapes in it, the color as well, but I don't find it fiery. I don't find it out of balance.
14.2. So it's
Okay.
almost at that, like, yeah. This one is a little bit lower. So the thing with Sangiovese is kind of tricky. Often the nose isn't obvious to me, and this one has enough other grape varieties in it that I don't think I would be able to pick it out in a blind tasting like, oh, this is a Sangiovese blend.
Right.
But the nose leans into maybe a little more red fruit than black fruit, but it's still opening up. It's a baby, in my humble
Yeah.
opinion. And
That's interesting because I
mm,
mean, Sangiovese,
mm,
uh, by the book is a pretty herbal wine as well.
mhm,
And I
mhm.
know that BC wines can be a little bit more herbal. They're reds. So I'd be interested in tasting, a
Mm.
few. Who else does that in BC?
Sangiovese. So
You
if
know?
you look at uh, Le Vieux Pin La Stella,
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. Right.
they do Sangiovese, and I'm thinking
Oh, Moon Cursor used to, do they still?
it kind of comes and goes, but I don't know. I would have to go look. They do some really interesting Italian varieties, though,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
kind of like
I think I still have some.
Blasted Church does some interesting Italian varieties too. Tirol de Go,
Okay.
Bosco. I mean, I think they're kind of moving away from that, but they have Nebbiolo, and it
Hmm.
was rated by Decanter, so 91 or 2
Cool.
points. Pretty awesome. Okay, so this is, yeah, you definitely get the cherry cola on this. There is a sweetness of the fruit that immediately hits your palate, unlike the Judge. The Judge is a little more structured and direct. Um,
Hmm.
the flavors, the herbal piece comes through mid palate, and it's quite lovely. Um, and the finish is drying, but the tannins are like you would be hard pressed to say it's super tannic. This is the opposite. It's silky, it's smooth. It's really beautiful. I love this. I love the flavors and they just linger and there's this sweet kind of compote of cherry with some nice spice that just lingers. So delicious.
Is it full bodied, would you say?
Well, I'm going to taste again.
Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So still with the blend, then like quite a bit heavier than a typical Italian.
Well, I would
Would you
say
say? Or-
it's a medium, when we do the whole WSET medium plus, medium plus. I would say
Mhm.
this is definitely close to being full body, but this is not Zinfandel or it's not Merlot, full body ground in your mouth. In
Mhm.
fact, it would be good to taste the judge again, just to kind of go like, oh, because I think the judge has quite a bit of voluptuousness to it too. I
Right.
think this because of the sweetness. Sweetness is always interesting. The fruit sweetness, it's not a sweet wine. This wine is dry, but the fruit sweetness can be very appealing. Um,
Hmm.
and it really embellishes kind of the whole experience. So I love it. Love it.
Nice.
All right. What do you have there?
Exciting.
You have another one?
Oh yeah. I should have poured this one first.
Mm.
My Ontario one. Is that what
Mm.
you would like me to open?
Mm.
Okay. Um, so I wanted to showcase the Westcott Estate Chardonnay. So this is a 2022 vintage. Um, one of my favorite wineries here, one of my favorite wineries ever. I love their Chardonnay. I love their Pinot Noir. Um,
Tell
but
me
yeah,
what you love about it.
oh,
They're
first of all,
using.
their oak program is fantastic. Um, their winemaking, there's also like just something so complete about their wines.
Mhm.
Um, and unique. I mean, you're really getting everything in there. You're getting the fruit, you're getting mineral, you're getting, these like hints of like earthiness, like you can get, especially in their Pinots, like these like fall leaves and
Mhm.
cedar notes.
Mhm.
But they work so beautifully together.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's what I love about their winery.
Mhm.
And like just yeah, the people there are lovely. The winery itself is so beautiful. And I mentioned in one of my articles about them that when you step into their winery, it just feels like you're like walking into like your home. It's just so cozy
Yeah.
and lovely. Yeah. So it's a really lovely place, but they do really beautiful wines.
So about how many acres? Like how big is this winery?
Ooh. I'm not
That's
a
okay.
100% sure.
Would you
So they're
say
on
small,
the,
medium, large? Like,
yeah, so I would say they're probably medium. So they have some vineyards like on their home farm, which is the Vinmount Ridge appellation. Um, but then they also bought it's called the Butler's Grant Vineyard, which is on the 20 Mile Bench. That
oh,
they do some of their, yeah, so I think they do have a Chardonnay that comes out from that vineyard, and then they also have a Cabernet Franc, I think,
well,
from that vineyard as well. Um, so yeah, so they're using both sites there, both appellations within Niagara. Um, I think they do a really great job with both, and I actually think that our best wines from Niagara come from the 20 Mile Bench, but in Westcott's case, I really like their estate stuff, which is on the Bin Mountain Ridge.
hmm.
Yeah.
Bit more elevation then? Is that the idea?
It doesn't have more elevation there. I'm not exactly sure what it is. There's this
Hmm.
like
Well,
this,
we have micro soils and microclimates here in the same appellation. So yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's just definitely something about that area. Like there's three wineries in particular that are in this little cluster there, and I think their wines are really special. Um, just yeah, something about the soil that just gives this really unique mineral element to the
Yeah.
wines that I
Yeah.
really love.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
Mhm.
Chablis-esque, but not. So, why do we like Chablis? Because it has a mineral quality. Why do we like
Yeah.
Sancerre? because it can pick up on the mineral quality of the soils. And aren't we always looking for, especially blind tasting, like, can you identify where this might be from? Like, I'm not good
Yeah,
at, I mean, okay, so we get it and we can be good at times, but it's very difficult to do 100% like, oh, I know everything. You just have to be tasting all the time. And quite frankly, at
right.
points like, wine is not my everyday consumption. It is my everyday tasting, but I'm not
Yeah.
drinking it every day.
Same.
All right.
Everyone
So,
thinks that I drink a ton, but
well,
because of
yeah,
my,
it's a problem, right? It's a
I'm like, no, I'm not
problem.
drinking.
Yeah.
I'm tasting
And my
lots of
friends are very
things.
happy when I open bottles because I'm like, hey.
Yeah, same. I have a neighborhood group chat that I just stick the bottles in.
So, yeah, right. Well, that is awesome because then there's no waste. And I think that is very
Hmm.
conscientious. Yeah. Okay, so I will share this one with you. So
Ooh,
this
yes.
Cab Merlot. So the reason this is interesting, although this is not the right vintage. What am I looking at here? Oh, nope. I already used this. So they have a Meritage with a white
Okay.
label. 2024, the grapes came from Columbia Valley. I think I've already consumed that one and shared that one. But the Columbia Valley is in Washington, Red Mountain, AVA, and it was Cab, Merlot, Malbec, and Cab Franc. And
Okay.
the story that I heard was grapes coming from Washington State, like Washington State has just been put through the ringer, and that the grape prices were affordable, even including the transportation to get them here. So
Yeah.
if you can imagine, I think it was a bit of an aha moment for many growers and many producers because the limiting factor is vineyards here. So
Right.
either you have an estate or you have a commercial license and you can bring grapes in from anywhere. And look, to be viable is part of sustaining an industry. So everyone's looking at everything like, oh my God,
Yeah.
commercial license applications apparently were up like substantially, and that just means the landscape of wine that will be available will be changing. Doesn't mean we're not going to have estate wine, but we're going to have more to offer.
Right.
So anyway, all that to say, we're really in transition again. And this time it's climate. And if we could free our grapes across the country, wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah. I think we're getting there slowly.
Yeah, there was some
Well,
letter that,
so they say we're waiting.
yeah, I just saw there was a letter that went out to, and it was the federal government, but it was addressed by Quebec and Ontario, Nova Scotia, BC, just saying, we need to, the federal government said, let's free the grapes, no, it said, let's open trade amongst the
Yeah.
provinces, interprovincial trade, but somehow alcohol did not get included in that. So it's tough. But
Yeah. I hope
BC
it
makes
comes.
amazing wine. We want to welcome everyone to the province. Come and explore the Okanagan, the Similkameen Valley. If you haven't tasted wines from the Similkameen Valley, wow, amazing. Or Pinot
Yeah.
Noirs and
Agreed.
Chardonnays from Vancouver Island. Like lots of adventures ahead. Anyway, I hope you
Yeah.
come to visit. It'd be
I
really
know. I
lovely.
hope I will soon. I was
Yeah.
debating coming to Van Wine Fest, but I'm not going to make it this year. But I think I still might try for February, March to book something to
Well,
get there.
Top Drop is an event that's pretty cool. Paul Pinder from Tawes came to one of the first ones, and it was really amazing because they invite the wineries. So
Okay.
it's kind of like not natural. I don't like to say natural wine, but minimal intervention, low interventionist wines. Uh,
Right.
and it's organized by SOMs here in Vancouver, and they do Vancouver and Calgary. And if you're interested, like I can connect you to some folks and be
Cool.
lovely. It's
Yeah.
international though. It's not just, well, the Van Wine Fest is
Good.
international too. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
Okay.
have lots of
Great.
chats about that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you would like to add?
Um, I just had a question for you. What do you think about the BC wineries? Like, do you have a preference? Like, since they've had to subsidize with um some American grapes, do you have a preference of, Washington, Oregon, California? What have you been tasting and the differences too of those
Yeah, that's
being
a
used?
really great question because, for example, Solvero, which is the newish winery in Garnet Valley, Summerland, Ellison Moyes is the general manager and winemaker. They made the effort to go to Oregon and suss out Chardonnay and Pinot Noir because that's really their offering. And amazing, like amazing grapes quality,
Right.
using container world, shipping it under special conditions, 24 hours, whatever, to get here. And then, anyway,
Yeah.
it depends on the grape variety, but I would say to you, the quality of the grapes coming out of Oregon and Washington is exceptional. And even Tantalus had some grapes from Oregon and Washington, I think, and this group, Hester Creek, was Red Mountain. But like Courcelette in Similkameen Valley were very specific as well, and they made their efforts into unique AVAs in because there's 21 AVAs in Washington State, so there's a lot, and some are tiny, but
Right.
around that, so Prosser, Yakima Valley, they get so much heat. It's very much like a Soyuz Oliver with the sort of flat terroir, plain kind of exposed and good
Hmm.
circulation of air. Kind of similar soils, if you will, partly because of the
Right.
whole Missoula flood like 15,000 years ago. But I've never met a wine I didn't like in some way, which is a challenge. But
I think
I'm
it's really
very,
cool that they, like a lot of the wineries put so much effort into really scoping out those vineyards in the US beforehand. And like just even sticking to like a house style, something that's gonna mesh with your brand and your winery. That's so important.
so
And
important.
I'm
Yeah.
really proud of a lot of BC wineries for doing that.
Yeah. Mount Boucherie brought in, I think it was Mount Boucherie brought in grapes from Ontario.
Awesome. I know I would love to try one of those mashups. I've yet to try a BC wine um, that used grapes from Ontario during this process. So I'd love to try it. It'd
Great.
be interesting.
Well, yeah. And the work is not done yet because so we have a chain of supermarkets here called Save On Foods. And not all wineries sort of had it clearly delineated on the front label that these were crafted, because it has to say crafted in BC, and then it
Yeah.
has to identify the region or the country where the grapes are from. And
Hmm.
some of them put it on the back label, so then when it's displayed, you just don't, you have to grab, like, and well, me,
Yeah.
that's okay, because I would do that anyway, but the average consumer might not. And I heard a funny comment. It was like, oh my God, VQA is being destroyed because we're bringing in grapes from other places. And I was like, no, 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 not BQA, crafted in British Columbia. So we have a lot of work to do just around messaging to get people on board. So, Leah, you would be a great person to kind of like do the taste and like share the thoughts. And I
Yeah.
don't know how much we have, but it's been last summer in Kelowna, the traffic was up 10%. So visitor traffic up 10%, but
Yeah.
spend down 10%. So, we need to get the right
Hmm.
consumers, and doesn't mean they're right, but we just need to have enough options because we have the same problem. There's a limited number of hotels and accommodation in Kelowna, for example. And
Right.
Airbnb has been, short-term rentals actually were banned. And that caused a lot of mobility, not mobility, but just like visitor stays because then the hotel prices kind of went through the roof. And, $600 a
Right.
night in the Okanagan doesn't doesn't make any sense, like just to me. Because if you
Yeah,
spend it all in the room, then you're not going to go and spend it in the winery or the restaurant. So I don't know if that's
exactly.
what's happening, but I feel like that's kind of the deal.
Yeah.
We need to work hard. Did you know this? Kelowna received a designation from UNESCO in October of 2025.
I did hear that. That's very exciting.
City, city of
Yeah.
gastronomy, city of gastronomy. So lots of work to
Yeah.
do. So you'll have to come out frequently and you'll have to wine and dine. And
Yeah.
I'd be happy to show you around, of course. And it'll be
Yes.
kind of fun. Yay, introduce you to all my wine friends.
Okay. That sounds really fun. Yeah.
Did I answer your question? Yeah.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, uh, just as a wrap, I would like to say thank you to Hester Creek for all these beautiful bottles.
Yes.
We
Thank
tried
you.
the Judge, we tried the Undici Sangiovese 2022, and you had the Judge also 2021, and was it Wetmore? The name of the
Sorry?
Chardonnay, the name of the
Oh,
Chardonnay,
Westcott. Westcott.
Westcott.
Yeah, it's Westcott Estate.
Westcott Estate Chardonnay. So that's now on my map. And to be honest, I have not been to Niagara for 35 years. So
Oh,
I
so you have to
have,
come back too.
so I will be making that journey at some point.
Good. Okay. Yeah, so we can take turns hosting
Right.
and
Well,
driving
let's
each
do,
other
you
around
want
by the
to,
country.
yeah. Well, I think that's the reciprocal. And I also think it's the national thing. It's the pride of Canada. That's just kind of what you need to do, right?
Yes.
Patriotic to the core.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Well, cheers. Wish you the
Cheers.
best. Thanks for your time. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Happy to
Thanks for
show you
having me
around
on.
Hester Creek when you come to visit.
Yes, please do. I can't wait. Thanks again.
Take care.